Hey, all right, all right. So today we're gonna take a look at the Cold Steel Lite VI. Okay, the 6-inch stiletto type blade from Cold Steel, which is also a modern day version of the switchblade without the push button. So yeah, these are the boxes they come in, and we're gonna look at the original Cold Steel version, which is this one, versus the DHgate version, which is more like the older model before the handle scales changed. And here are the two knobs. And the first thing you'll notice off the rip is the pocket clip. This pocket clip here has an etching of Cold Steel on it, whereas the original has an embossed, meaning it's stamped with Cold Steel. The screws on this one, the heads are slightly bigger than on the original. The screw heads. I mean, they're probably the same size screw, just the head, the rounded part, is bigger on this one. And another thing, see the blade, the slickness of how the blade sits down inside of the handle. Well, this one protrudes out further. Okay. And then if you turn it over, you'll notice that this blade is thinner all the way up in here, all the way up to here. Whereas this one is thicker all the way down. And this one's thinner all the way down. But it's pretty much the same thickness in the center of the blade, just it's thinner at the very edge. Another thing is the thumb studs. This thumb stud has thick ridges. This thumb stud has thinner ridges. Okay, now another thing here, this leaf spring, which is the liner lock, is more rough textured and a little bit wider. And this one's a little thinner and has more refined checkering, where this one has more rougher checkering. But the blades are the same thickness, and you can see the differences in the thumb studs. Another thing, this one has smoother, less scratching quillion jimping, and this one has more refined and more aggressive quillion jimping. All things else, this one's more polished. This one's not as polished, but it takes the same size screw, and the bolts are the same size. This one's probably been heat treated, and maybe this one hasn't. The stop pins are the same. These probably heat treated. This is probably heat treated, or maybe these are heat treated, but just not heat treated as well. And the scales, I would strongly assume that if you wanted this scale on this knife, you could swap them out, because they're basically identical as far as size wise is. The liners are the same. This liner just feel a little more rougher texture. You really got to be picky to notice it. But this one's smooth, very smooth, and this one's has just a little texture to it. Now, getting to the blade. This one did require just a little bit of modification up in this area to get it to lock, so that it wouldn't fail on you when you tap the spine to pass the pound with express. It'll pass it all day long now. But notice, listen, see the click? That's necessary for this knife. But for $25, it was worth it. Okay? This one's $50. You don't have to worry about that with this one. No clicking. No clicking at all. Okay? This one just had the clicking, but it's tough. It will not fail now. And let's take a look at the blades, because I know that's what most people concerned would want to know. Is there a big difference? I believe these blades are the same. This is the original cold steel AUS 8 blade. So it says cold steel AUS 8A Taiwan, and this one says Lite VI, and it has on there cold steel AUS 8A Taiwan, right at the tang or the ricasso area. Okay, so yeah, the jimping is not as aggressive. It's on here. The leaf spring folder is not as wide as on the DHgate version. The DHgate version does require some adjusting up in here to get this to fit and lock so it doesn't fail. But that can be done. I seen a guy, I think he might have been a Czechoslovakian guy. He did his with a file, and that's how I found out how to do it. But I didn't use a file. I used the my workshop belt sander, and I just sanded a little bit off, sanded a little bit off of this, off the leaf spring, and a little bit off of here, and then sanded a groove in there for it to catch on, and it's fine. I think it'll last as long as that one, if maybe not longer, but this is the better one all day long. But for the price of two of these, price of one of these, you can get two of these. Hey, it's up to the buyer. Just in case someone's been looking at the DHgate version, they'll say, well, what am I getting? This is what you'll get. And it took me about 2 weeks for them to ship it, if it took that long. I've ordered stuff from Amazon and it took 2 weeks. So hey, it can take that long sometimes when you don't choose that special shipping. And that you can track this all the way to your door. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm not trying to push a product. I know cold steel people like the original products, but I took a guy's advice. He said, sometimes you want to buy from these buyers just for the parts, because if something go wrong with this knife, these parts will fit. This handle scale will fit this. And this was the handle scale I originally wanted. I didn't, before the new one came out. You know what I'm saying? And this is the one I thought I was going to be getting when I bought this one. But this was the one that came. I'm satisfied with it. But hey, I can always swap these handle scales, because it's the liners that really give this knife its strength. Not the handle scales. The handle scales just give it its look. So yeah, these are, pretty much identical. I don't know why this blade protrudes out so far. But it does, and you can see it's centered perfect. Good centering. Good centering on the DHgate. And I'd say good centering on the cold steel version, And no modification has been done to this one. Just a little modification done to this one so that it will lock without failing, And like I said, I saw that, how to do that, and do it easily without having to figure out a whole lot from watching a YouTube video on the Replica Lite from a Czechoslovakian guy. I couldn't understand what he was saying, but I could see what he did, and that seeing is the most bigger part of learning. Peace, take care, and yeah, that's the two knives, the original cold steel and the DHgate version with the original handle scales. Peace, take care. Adios.